The conference room smelled like fresh coffee and new carpet, but the tension inside it was older, years old. My cousins sat across from me, identical nervous expressions plastered on their faces. Their hands were folded too neatly, their backs too straight, like kids waiting to see the principal. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I need your help to run this journey, thank you. Behind them, through the glass walls, my staff moved with professional calm. Every few seconds, someone knocked, asking, "Larry, do you need anything?" My cousins flinched each time my name was spoken with respect. I kept my voice steady. "We'll finalize your contracts in a moment." Then the door burst open. My aunt stormed in like she owned the place. Her purse swung violently at her side, her voice loud enough to freeze the whole floor. "Larry, what is this? Why are my boys sitting here?" Her boys, two grown men, shrunk in their chairs. The same cousins who once called me the family disappointment couldn't even lift their eyes now. Employees stared. My aunt's voice trembled with outrage. Mine didn't. "Have a seat," I said calmly. That's when she realized. She looked from me to the company logo printed on the contracts, back to me. Her face went pale. "You're the owner." I didn't answer. I didn't need to. This was the moment she'd earned. "My name is Larry, and this is how everything went down." People like to say family is everything, but to me, family always felt like a test I wasn't allowed to pass. I grew up in a small town outside Columbus, Ohio. My dad was a quiet carpenter, my mom a nurse, both good people with simple expectations: be kind, work hard, make something of your life. My aunt, my mom's older sister, believed in none of that. Her name was Evelyn, and she loved two things: being admired and pretending her sons were superior to the rest of us. Her house was always spotless, her tone always sugary in public, and her judgment always razor-sharp behind closed doors. When my dad died unexpectedly when I was 17, she took my mom's grief as an opportunity to rise above us. She'd pat my shoulder and say things like, "Some people just aren't meant for success, Larry. Focus on realistic goals. You're not like my boys." It never sounded like advice, it sounded like prophecy. And my cousins, they followed her lead like gospel. Every holiday was the same. They mocked my clothes. They mocked my dreams. They mocked anything that didn't fit their version of status. I was the scrappy cousin, the charity case, the kid with handyman skills but no future. But the worst moment, the one that stayed with me for years, was still ahead. I was 19 when the humiliation hit a level I didn't think possible. My aunt threw one of her famous birthday parties, the kinds where the candles cost more than a week of groceries at our place. She insisted we come, saying it was good for the family to stay connected, which was code for, "I want witnesses for my son's accomplishments." I arrived in the only nice shirt I had. When I stepped inside, conversations died instantly, not because of me, because my aunt wanted attention. "Everyone," she announced dramatically, "look who's here, Larry." People turned, some smiled politely, others whispered. Then she delivered the dagger. "Larry, been talking about starting his own business," she said with a laugh that felt scripted. "Isn't that adorable? He wants to run a, what was it, dear, a handyman service." The room chuckled, even people I barely knew. My face burned. "I never said adorable," I muttered. "I said I'm working on it." My cousin smirked. "Bro, you don't even have a car that starts without praying first." The crowd laughed harder. My aunt placed a hand on my shoulder in a fake motherly way. "Sweetie, don't be upset. Ambition is cute, but let's stay grounded, Not everyone is cut out for leadership. Leave that to my boys." I swallowed the anger, the humiliation, the grief from losing my dad, the ache of never being enough. That night when we got home, Mom apologized even though none of it was her fault. I just said one sentence: "I'm going to remember all of this." And I did. I started small, extremely small. My dad's old toolbox. A beat-up truck that stalled in the winter. A cheap phone with a cracked screen. I worked any job I could get. Fixing sinks. Assembling furniture. Cleaning garages. Replacing drywall. Repairing fences. People liked my work ethic. Nobody in my family noticed. Except my aunt, who loved to remind me how cute it was. "You're doing chores for money," she told me once. "That's not a business, Larry, that's survival." She meant it as an insult. I took it as motivation. Every job I did, I saved a little. Every customer I met, I treated like gold. Every night I came home exhausted, I'd remind myself, "You're building something, keep going." Slowly, I gained regular clients. Then referrals. Then enough money to buy a used van. Still, my aunt mocked me. "You can't build a future on screwdrivers and nails," she said. Funny, because that's exactly what I did. My breakthrough came from a job most people would have turned down. A retired man hired me to fix a dozen small issues around his house. Nothing special, but he watched me work, noticed how careful I was, how I checked every detail twice. When I finished, he said, "You're overqualified for the rate you're charging." "I'm trying to grow," I told him. He smiled and wrote an extra 0 on the check. "Consider this an investment." Then he added, "You have something your generation forgets, pride in your work. That's the foundation of a real business." Those words lit something inside me. That night, I created a proper name for my services. A logo, a basic website, professional invoices. I wasn't just patching drywall anymore. I was building a company. When I told my family, my mom hugged me. My aunt laughed. "You're wasting your 20s, she said. "My boys are building real careers." Her boys were both job hopping. She didn't mention that part. My business picked up faster than I expected. I expanded from handyman work to small-scale renovations. I hired my first part-time helper. Then another. Every step forward triggered a fresh wave of mockery from my aunt. "Oh look," she would say at gatherings, "Larry brought paint under his fingernails. How professional." Or, "Clients, sweetheart, people hire you because you're cheap." My cousins chimed in. "Do you even have a business degree?" One day I simply answered, "No, but I have customers." They hated that. The more I grew, the quieter they got. But my aunt grew louder. She hated the idea of me rising without her approval, and without needing her. That should have been my warning. The first real attack came disguised as family concern. My aunt cornered me at Thanksgiving. I was serving myself mashed potatoes when she leaned in, perfume choking the air. "Larry dear," she whispered, "don't embarrass yourself. Stop pretending you're building an empire." "I'm not pretending," I said. She smiled, the kind that never reached her eyes. "I'm saying this lovingly, you'll never be more than middle class. My boys, they're the ones built for success." I shrugged, "Then why are you worried about me?" Her lips tightened. "Because failure reflects poorly on the family." She said it loud enough for her sons to hear. That was the moment I understood. She wasn't mocking me just for fun. She was protecting her narrative. In her story, she was the successful matriarch with perfect sons. Someone like me couldn't succeed. It would ruin the image she worshipped. So she doubled down. Months passed, work exploded. I took bigger contracts. I hired more workers. I saved every penny. One afternoon, I got a message from my aunt. "Family dinner at my place, mandatory." Mandatory? Who did she think she was? But my mom wanted to go, so I swallowed my pride and agreed. When I arrived, I immediately sensed something off. Her smile was too bright. Her tone too cheerful. Her energy too rehearsed. My cousin sat smugly beside her. Then she cleared her throat and announced, "My boys have exciting news. They're starting a real estate venture, very high-end homes, real money." The relatives clapped. Then she added with a smirk, "And maybe someday Larry can help them with repairs." Laughter. My stomach twisted. Not because of the joke, because something else felt wrong. My aunt kept glancing at me with a strange certainty. She wasn't just bragging. She was planning something. I just didn't know what yet. 2 weeks later, the sabotage hit. A major client emailed me late at night. "Sorry, Larry, we found a more established contractor. Someone said you're inexperienced and overpriced." Someone? I dug a little. The new contractor they hired. My cousins. They'd undercut my quote by thousands, money they didn't have, and told the client I was unstable and not running a real company. My aunt's fingerprints were all over it. I felt rage boiling up, the kind that claws at your ribs, but I stayed calm. Reputation is built on truth, not panic. I wrote the client a polite message wishing them well. Then I doubled down on my work ethic. Improved my portfolio. Raised my standards even higher. The next month, that same client came crawling back after my cousins messed up the project. But I declined. "Sorry," I wrote, "I'm fully booked." Professional. Controlled. Strategic. My aunt heard about it. She didn't like losing control. Success never arrives with trumpets. It arrives quietly like a sunrise. Within 2 years, my little operation turned into a full renovation company. We built kitchens, remodeled homes, repaired damage other contractors left behind. My team grew to 12 employees. My revenue tripled. I bought a second work van. Then office space. Then a warehouse unit. My mom cried the day she saw the new building. My aunt, she said nothing. Not because she was proud. Because she was confused. In her world, people like me didn't win. But I kept winning. Clients loved my honesty. My team respected my leadership. My financial stress faded into something I hadn't felt in years: hope. Then life handed me the biggest twist yet. It started with rumors. Little comments from extended family. "Did you hear about Evelyn's husband? He lost big money. The business deal flopped. Her boys are unemployed again." I ignored it. Family drama wasn't my business. Until one Sunday morning, I got a knock on my door. My aunt. Mascara smudged. Hair messy. Hands trembling. She'd never looked human before. Always polished, always perfect. But now she was breaking. "Larry," she said softly, "can we talk?" I didn't invite her in. I stood in the doorway. "What do you need?" Her eyes darted away. "It's about my boys, they need jobs, something temporary, something honest." Honest? Funny word coming from her. I didn't gloat. Didn't smirk. Didn't remind her of all the years she tried to crush me. I simply said, "I'll think about it." She clung to that sentence like a lifeline. That night, I thought about everything she'd done to me. All the humiliation. All the insults. All the sabotage. But revenge wasn't the goal. Never had been. I wanted closure. Peace. A clean break. Still, I couldn't ignore the opportunity for poetic symmetry. So I drafted 2 job offers for her sons. Fair pay. Real responsibilities. No special treatment. Before sending them, I added one line. If they accept, they work for me, not with me. Her sons signed within 24 hours. My aunt didn't speak for 2 days. They arrived early. Nervous. Quiet. Completely different from the arrogant men I grew up with. One stuttered when greeting me. The other kept his hands in his pockets, avoiding eye contact. I didn't humiliate them. Didn't comment on the role reversal. I simply said, "Welcome to the team, you'll earn everything here." They nodded quickly. Throughout the day, employees treated me with respect. "Larry, can I show you the budget?" "Larry, the client asked for your opinion." Larry, what's your verdict on the layout? My cousins watched all of it with stunned silence. They realized painfully that I wasn't playing businessman. I was the business. And they were starting from zero. My aunt couldn't handle it. She called me every other day pretending to check on the boys, but her tone dripped with resentment. So they actually take orders from you? Yes. And you expect them to work? Yes. She scoffed. They're not used to that. I smiled. That's the problem, isn't it? She went silent. Then she tried a new tactic, guilt. Larry, they're family, don't be too hard on them. I'm not hard on them, I'm fair. She hated that word. Fairness would expose everything she'd spent years covering. A month passed. My cousins worked quietly, diligently, humbly. One day during lunch, one of them asked, "Why did you hire us?" I looked him straight in the eyes. Because everyone deserves a chance to rebuild, even people who once mocked someone trying to do the same. He swallowed hard. We were stupid back then. I know. The other cousins spoke up. Mom always compared us, said you never be anything. I raised an eyebrow. And you believed her? They nodded. It was the first honest moment we'd ever had. My aunt lost control of the narrative. Relatives called me saying she told them I forced her sons into labor-like work. Others said she'd claimed I manipulated them. Then she showed up at my warehouse unannounced, yelling at me in front of employees. "You're exploiting my children." "They're 30, I said calmly. "This is beneath them. Then they're free to quit." She froze. That wasn't the answer she expected. "You wouldn't survive without my family," she hissed. I stepped closer. "I built everything without your help or your permission." Her face twisted with rage. Then she made her biggest mistake yet. She said, "You were never meant for success. I made sure you understood that." And the entire room heard it. Her sons were standing behind her. They heard everything. "Mom," one whispered horrified, "you did all that on purpose." She panicked. "I was protecting you." By tearing him down, the other snapped. They walked away from her, leaving her alone, shaking with fury and shame. She looked around the room, a room full of employees staring at the collapse of her facade. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. Her empire of superiority had just crumbled. Just when I thought her downfall was complete, life added another twist. Her husband left, packed his bags, moved out, said he was done being blamed for her problems. She called me sobbing, begging for help, begging for money. "Please, Larry, I'm losing my house." I felt a pit in my stomach. Not satisfaction. Not revenge. Just finality. "I'm sorry," I said gently, "but I can't fix the consequences of choices you made." She whispered, "You're punishing me." "No," I said, "life is." She hung up. Meanwhile, my company was entering its strongest phase yet. We signed 3 major renovation contracts. I expanded the warehouse. I was featured in a local business journal. Clients booked us months in advance. My cousins flourished too. They worked hard, learned fast, improved their lives with genuine effort. One of them said, "You're the reason I turned things around." I corrected him. "No, you're the reason, I just gave you a place to start." It felt good to say it. My aunt made one last attempt at controlling the situation. She stormed into my office again, but this time her voice wasn't powerful. It was desperate. "Larry, you owe me respect. I am still the head of this family." "No," I said calmly, "respect is earned." "You think you're better than us, better than my boys." "No, I'm just better than who you told me I was." Her face crumpled. "You think you won," she whispered. I shook my head. There's no competition, there never was, you created it alone. That broke her. Not because of cruelty, but because she knew it was the truth. I escorted her to the exit. Not forcefully. Just firmly. She looked at me with hollow eyes and said something I'll never forget. I never thought you'd make it. I nodded. I know. You're really not going to help me. I already have, I said. I hired your sons, I broke the cycle you created. She opened her mouth to argue, but nothing came out. For the first time in her life, she had no words. She never visited the warehouse again. Never called. Never apologized. But her downfall kept unfolding. She lost her home. Moved into a small rental. Stopped hosting parties. Stopped bragging. Stopped pretending. Her sons stayed with my company, not out of pity, but because they'd grown into men who valued real work. They rarely spoke about their mom anymore. The silence said everything. Still, one more twist was coming. A national home renovation TV show reached out to feature my company. They filmed my team. They interviewed me. They highlighted my story without mentioning family drama. When the episode aired, my phone exploded with messages. One was from a relative. Your aunt is devastated. She realizes what she missed out on. But I didn't respond. I didn't celebrate her pain. I simply moved forward. My cousins watched the episode with pride. One said, "Man, if she could see you now." She did, I said. She just refused to believe it. Months later, my aunt tried one last time to reconnect. She sent a message. "Can we talk? I'm trying to fix things." But I knew better. Some people don't seek forgiveness. They seek access. Access to your success. Access to your stability. Access to the parts of you they never helped build. I didn't respond. My peace mattered more. My mom supported me. My team supported me. My cousins respected me. My aunt, she became a footnote in a story she tried to control. And that leads back to the conference room. My aunt standing there. Her sons working for me. Her voice cracking as she realized her own arrogance built this moment. "Larry," she whispered, "how did this happen?" I looked at my cousins, now confident, responsible men, then back at her. "It happened," I said softly, "because you taught me who I never wanted to become." I gathered the contracts. Stood up. Extended my hand to her sons. "Welcome to the company," I said. They shook it firmly. My aunt didn't say another word. She walked out, not angrily, not proudly, but quietly. Her reign was over. My rise was just beginning. And the best revenge. Knowing my worth. And walking away without looking back. Please do well to drop your comment below. Thank you.